Hi, welcome back to my channel Civil Stuff by Wahid. If you are watching my video for the first time, please do subscribe. So today I am going to take the topic regarding the simple stresses and strains. Now, what do you mean by a stress? Suppose if I am taking a beam, okay, and if I apply a load, because of this load there will be a stresses developed inside, okay. Now regarding this one, the stress is nothing but the internal resistance developed in the body per unit area due to externally applied load are known as stresses. Means I apply a load, because of this load internally resistance will be developed up to the limit of resistance it can bear. If it loses its resistance, it will fail. Okay, so the internal resistance offered by the member due to externally applied load per unit area is known as a stress. Okay, generally stress is denoted by sigma, which is equals to load by area. Okay, the units of stresses are Newton per meter square or Pascal. Okay, this is regarding the stresses. And suppose if I take a section, okay, and if the stresses are constant throughout the section, if the sections are uniform and constant throughout the section, then that state is known as simple stresses. What is that stress is called as simple stresses. Now we'll see different types of stresses. First of all, what is a normal force? Normal force. First of all, any member is there. If a load is applied perpendicular to the surface of the member, normally acting to the surface of the member, that type of force is nothing but called as a normal forces. Because of this normal force, the internal stresses developed in the body is nothing but called as a normal stress. Normal force means what? Load acting perpendicular to the surface of the member, that is passing through the axis. Okay, this is also called as the axial load. When a body is subjected to axial force acting normal to the surface, then such forces are known as normal forces. The internal resistance developed in the body also act normal to the stressed surface and are called as what? Normal stresses. In that member, suppose if this normal force is acting away from the body, that is pull condition, is nothing but called as what? Tensile force. If the force is acting away from the member normally, it is called as a tensile force, and the stresses developed here is nothing but called as tensile stresses. Tensile stresses. And in this, what happens? Because of this pulling away from the body, there may be a chances of extension of the length but decrease in dia. Dia will be decreasing where length has been increasing because of the tensile forces. Okay. Now this is the condition what I am dealing here. If I apply a pull load both sides of a member, and if I apply a load, it will be elongating. At the same time, the diameter will be decreasing. Now the tensile stresses developed are equals to tensile force by cross sectional area. Okay. And coming to the compressive stresses. Compressive stresses means, first of all, what do you mean by compressive force? Means if a member in which if the load is acting normally towards the member, it is called as a compressive forces, and the stresses developed in the compressive force due to these compressive forces are nothing but called as what? Compressive stresses. Here what happens? Diameter increases and length decreases. Length will be getting decreasing and diameter is increasing. It is subjected to push. Okay, and here next, tangential force or tangential and tangential stress. Tangential means what? If a member is like this, load applied in perpendicular to the longitudinal axis. If the load is applied perpendicular to the longitudinal axis, it is called as a shear force or tangential force. Now what happens? The beam will try to break like this. The beam will try to break like this because at the surface the stresses will be acting. Okay. Now the stresses produced because of this tangential force or shear force is nothing but called as a shear stress. It is what denoted by tau. Shear stress equals to shear force by cross sectional area. Shear force by cross sectional area. Next, bending stresses. What is this? Bending stresses. So as I said you earlier, because of this normal force, the beam will be subjected to shear force and bending moment. Now the resistance offered to resist the bending moment is nothing but called as a bending stress. Okay, it is the resistance offered towards what? Bending moment. Next, what is shear stress? It is the resistance offered towards the shear force. Now here the bending stresses, it is can be also called as what? Flexural stress. Flexural stress, which is equals to M by Z, where M is nothing but moment of resistance, Z is nothing but section modulus. Section modulus. This is regarding your shear, compressive force, tensile force, shear force and bending moment. Next, coming to the simple strain. Now when there is a stress in a member, there will be definitely strain. What do you mean by strain? Now when I apply a load on a beam, or like this or like this, whatever it may be, there are some changes in, right? Suppose if I apply like this, there is going to increase in dia and decrease in the length. Means that there is some changes in volumetric dimensions happening. That is nothing but a strain. Now what do you mean by strain? It is defined as a ratio of change in dimension to original dimension. Change in dimension after application of load to original dimension before application of load is nothing but called as a strain. Okay, and it is a measure of dimension which is denoted by epsilon, which is equal to change in dimension by original dimension. Means mm by mm means no units. That is, strain is a dimensionless quantity. Okay, and sometimes it may be represented in percentage also. It can be represented in a percentage also. Now suppose if I apply a tensile force, tensile stresses will be developed. Tensile stresses will be developed. Means what happening here? Length is going to increase. Length is increasing. Means it is called as what? Positive deformation. It is called positive deformation. Next, if I apply a load towards the member, that is called as a compressive stresses are going to develop and length is going to decrease. We call it as what? Negative deformation. Okay, now what is this strain means? It is the fundamental behavior of the material. Okay, it is the fundamental behavior of the material, and at the same time if the strain is uniform throughout the particular member or section, it is called as a simple strain. Okay, now for to get the simple strain, what do you mean simple strain? Throughout the length the strain should be uniform. For obtaining the simple strain condition, the material used for the member should be homogeneous and same elastic properties, that is isotropic, and the cross section should be uniform throughout the section. Now here if you want to know the percentage of strain, that is elongation, if I want to know the percentage of elongation, you are supposed to conduct a test known as you are supposed to prepare a test, that is tensile test should be done. Now for that you are supposed to go for UTM, that is called as what? Universal testing machine. What is this? Universal testing machine. In that you will be having upper jaw and lower jaw. In this between you are supposed to fix the length of the specimen, that is called as what? Gauge length. What is this called as? Gauge length. Okay, now how to prepare this one is, suppose if I want to know the elongation, percentage elongation of this rod, which is say example 12 mm dia. Okay, I am going to conduct the test on this one. Now this is the length, gauge length should be fixed for this particular member. There is a formula called as 5.65 root of A naught. What is this called as? 5.65 root of A naught, where is what is A naught is equals to pi by 4 into dia square, that is this one. So A naught equals to pi by 4 into 12 square, you will be getting area. Substitute here, you will be getting the gauge length. So based upon this gauge length, that is the original length, after application, because of this tensile load you are applying, definitely it is going to increase, that is the change in length that you are going to occur. Okay, so by this formula you are supposed to calculate the gauge length. And now how the specimen is loaded, you are supposed to apply the load, increase the load gradually, and what happens as the load increases, specimen goes on increases, where length of the specimen goes on increases and diameter goes on decreases. Okay, that is the test you are going to conduct to know the percentage of elongation, that is strain.